And usually one match may take like an hour at most. Brother, what are you doing? What is wrong with my AI? Mate, why has he got a death wish? What are you doing? Are you kidding me? Like... So the hydroplane obviously doesn't work on this. It's just, it doesn't even go in a straight line, man. Yep. Alright, cool. Well, that's a wasted mod, isn't it? Turns out we lost all of the good pilots over the Mediterranean. They've just gone. Peace.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time to have a look at another little event which is going to be going on this weekend, and this time it is for the Royal Air Force. Basically, the anniversary of the Royal Air Force is upon us, and that means from the 29th of March to the 2nd of April, all you gotta do is play 3 battles using British aircraft of rank 3 or higher to receive the RAF Day 2024 decal. It is actually a really nice little badge. Looks like that might be the theme for this year for all of these different things. They're also bringing back the Typhoon Mark 1B. It's going to be here for GE, and we'll have a look at it in a little bit. The vehicle itself is quite good, and hopefully they can bring back a bunch of other things at the same time. These vehicles are usually pretty pricey when it comes to them bringing them back, but some of them are worth it, and the Typhoon might be one of them. So the Typhoon Mark 1B can be found in the British tech tree at rank 3, battle rating 4.3 in realistic. This is actually quite nice because you have a really nice 4-7 lineup for Britain. You have, of course, the Sherman Firefly, the Churchill, which isn't great, but, you know, it's there, and the Avenger. Also at 4-3, you have a pretty competent lineup nowadays. The Concept 3, which I've always felt like is under BR'd, and then also the NA-75 to run with the Churchill. So, since all of these things are rank 3, and also the Istovak, you can actually, you know, do dailies with it, you can do specials with it, and generally any event, which is really cool, and means that this can kind of, you know, come alongside all of these vehicles in ground, and also naval forces, since even in Navy, Britain has a pretty nice 4-3 lineup too, with a bunch of rank 2s. So you can actually run the Typhoon with these rank 2s, and it can actually give you the dailies and specials since it's a rank 3 aircraft. So you can do all the work in the rank 2s, spawn in the rank 3, and it counts for rank 3. Pretty cool, right? So the Typhoon Mark 1B is slightly different from the tech tree one. The Mark 1B late has access to the Napier Sabre 2 engine, which has quite a lot of power, 2,197 takeoff power, whereas the 1B only has the Napier 2A, so it actually has less overall power. You can see that 1,995. So the premium version is surprisingly worse than the standard tech tree version. You don't usually see this when it comes to general stuff, but that is what's going on. It is only slightly worse, so not a huge difference between them, but it is something to note between the two vehicles. Also, at the same time, the Mark 1B Lates gets the 1943 and 1942 upgrade to the Hispanos, where the Mark 1B only gets the 1943, so it doesn't really matter too much, but it is something to at least think about. And also, the good old vehicle does get access to 2 camos. The premium one, you got the standard camouflage, and then you got the tropical one, which you're able to unlock. So basically, since this is a worse version than the one that's in the tech tree, I would only pick up the 1B if you don't feel like grinding out the tech tree. And I know a lot of ground players and a lot of naval players don't want to grind out, you know, stuff like the air tree, so that would be the reason to kind of pick it up. Other than that, you know, you might as well grind through the tech tree, get the Mark 1BL, you know, get the Spitfire F Mark 9, which works very well, and then also a few others to run at this lineup, such as the Mark 5C Trop with its 4 Hispanos. The Hispanos do a ton of damage, they're very good in ground, and also air. The ground targets do pen quite a lot, and you can top pen most things that you'll face. The air targets also do a lot of damage. Hispanos have always had a pretty bad reputation in the game, you know, Hisparcos from back in the day, but nowadays they just hit like a truck. The major issue with the Typhoon Mark 1B when it comes to fighting other planes is at high speeds, which usually is where you find this thing, the tail locks up very hard and the rudder decides to go for a wander. So your best decision to fight in this thing is to be able to attack the enemy from a high altitude, go down on the enemy, and then instead of attacking it on the first hit, loop on the enemy to reduce energy of the enemy, and then hit him with the next one, which works very well, but also means that you have to really pick your targets well, because there'll be a lot of times where there'll be targets where you will just straight up, you know, it'll be a 2-on-1 situation and you'll get nuked, so you've got to be a bit careful about that. Does get 2 1,000-pound bomb drops. They basically drop at the same time, if I remember, so it's a guaranteed kill, and then you can follow up with the 20s. As I said, if you don't want to grind out, you know, the aviation tree, this one is a really good pickup for ground and also for that wonderful rank 3 lineup. If you do want to grind out the tech tree, just get the standard Typhoon Mark 1B. It's got some really nice camos. It is exactly the same, apart from it plays a little bit better because it has a slightly nicer engine on it and has all of the basic same issues. It even has a pretty cool, camo on it from the market. So yeah, I would definitely say the Mark 1B is a good plane, but the standard tech tree version is just better than it. So if you want to play a Typhoon and you want to grind out the tech tree, just play that instead. I've been thinking a lot about how to actually bring these vehicles back, and we talked about it before with the LA5FN. It would be so cool if they added some kind of like discount system to it, or maybe a way of like grinding decals. You remember last year when they added that system, like that kind of promo for certain vehicles, like the T3485E and stuff like the IS-2, where you could get a discount on them, plus like a profile pick and a decal if you wanted it, and then if you ground it out, you got some additional stuff on top of it if you already had the vehicle. That to me was just really cool, and I feel like with a lot of these vehicles now, since they have so many old decals which are just kind of sat around the place, they could easily just attach it to these. The weekly decals slash, you know, the monthly decals have just kind of disappeared. I don't know where they've gone, and I wish they would come back because they were such a cool system to work on, and also at the same time just, you know, to take your mind off doing other things. If they could take these little events, which they seem to do all the time with stuff like the Typhoon, the LA5FN, or even other ones, and just add a few decals to it, basically, you know, okay, go play the Typhoon, get a bunch of mission score in it, and get an additional decal. Give people incentives to actually get these things instead of just playing full price for a vehicle that is a FOMO vehicle, and especially since it never used to be a FOMO vehicle, which was one of the biggest problems. So the other part as well is over time what they seem to do with the special sale things, you know, when you get those that like pop up. We talked about them, how in January they were popping up quite a lot, and I've been getting even more and more and more, and the terms of them have been getting slightly better every time. You could even do a system like that to try and get people interested in purchasing these things, especially since a lot of these vehicles are incredibly old and don't, you know, really, if you're a veteran player, you either have them or you don't want them, so they're only designed for newer players. So give veteran players some kind of incentive, if they don't have these vehicles, to try and get them, to be able to buy them. And the incentives can be as simple as decals, they can be as simple as little discounts here and there, and hopefully we can see something like that in the future. Because right now, the way that the system works, it's very hard to justify purchasing any of these vehicles, just because of their cost, and also the fact and how easy it is to grind into the tech trees at the level that they're at. As always though, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Tullio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pieman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Alan Hacker, Ozzy Panzer, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Cam Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.